Hey guys, it's Scoundrel from Apex Bamboozled here, and today we're going to be covering the HAVOC, including attachments, recoil, and everything in between. Stick around because we have got all the details on the newest weapon in Apex Legends.
You got bamboozled.
So the HAVOC is a little simpler compared to guns that have barrel stabilizers because nothing actually affects the recoil in terms of attachments, so we only have to do the recoil once, realistically. However, it can have stock attachments and it can have a select fire receiver and a turbocharger alongside optics. So let's take a look at some of the base stats, and the most important stats are obviously the damage, so 18 to the body, 2 times to the head which gives you 36, and 14 to the legs. And that means shots to kill to the head with no body armor calculated, by the way, because it gets a little bit complex if you have to calculate it with body armor too. Ranges from 3 to 6. However, if they have got body armor and you shoot to the body, 6 kills or 6 shots to kill when they have no armor, and 12 shots at epic or legendary armor. So if you can land even just half a clip into someone and consistently hit them in the body, you're going to take them out. It's a very powerful weapon, and the rate of fire means you actually unload magazines very quickly too. 7 seconds to dump 25 rounds. So if you can laser someone down, this is a very powerful weapon. So let's take a look at the recoil patterns now, and I'm going to do what I've done for every recoil pattern assessment that I've done in Apex Legends, which is take some traces of bullet holes in the wall and then overlay them together onto a target to assess what the overall pattern might look like. So we're going to do that here. We're going to combine all of our 3 patterns together, and you can see that compared to something like the R301, where the vertical and horizontal recoil definitely stay within the ranges of those circular targets on my dummy target that I'm using here, the HAVOC has got incredibly high vertical recoil, but actually very well controlled horizontal recoil. Now, that may seem crazy in terms of the vertical recoil, but what I need to tell you is that the vertical recoil is much, much easier to control than horizontal recoil, because you only have to adjust in one direction. Let's have a quick look at the ADS recoil before we move on now as well, and you'll notice that the patterns are very similar. Good horizontal recoil control, and the vertical recoil actually higher than most other weapons as well. Again, we're going through 25 bullets here. It's got a very high rate of fire, and it kicks pretty heavily on the vertical sense. So we're going to do the same thing, and you'll notice that the recoil traces are very close together. But what's something that extra that you might not have noticed, and something that we calculated here, is that it takes around 15 bullets to reach the peak vertical recoil on this weapon. So first 15 bullets are going to raise the weapon up, and then at the top, it's going to cap out exactly there. So my advice for dealing with the recoil on the HAVOC is literally just to pull down. That might sound really stupid, but you only have to compensate in one direction for the HAVOC's recoil. Most of the HAVOC's recoil comes on the vertical axis, upwards. Unlike the R301, where you spray from left to right a little bit, the HAVOC is actually a lot easier to control from hip and from ADS fire, because all you need to do is pull your mouse or gamepad down, and that's going to give you a tighter spread of bullets. It's going to compensate for that massive vertical recoil and the massive kick, and this is both for hip fire and ADS. I want you to watch the difference in terms of the bullet traces on the ADS. When I pull down as well, you notice that you can keep it in line very easily. And I'm not the best at this game in terms of on-the-fly shooting, but if you just drag down when firing with this weapon, you can keep it much more accurate to the area that you're trying to keep the aim centered on. So it's actually a pretty easy gun to control once you know exactly which way the recoil kicks. And I can tell you from all of the testing, it kicks upwards and upwards only. Okay, so taking a look at the HAVOC with the select fire receiver, this is a hop that changes the firing pattern for the HAVOC and actually enables a mode that is a single fire mode, a little bit like a railgun, turns the HAVOC into essentially a designated marksman rifle. Now, each shot takes 0.5 seconds to wind up and fire, and it also consumes 5 ammo apiece, making it a very ammo-hungry firing mode. The benefits of this mode is that it has no drop-off, it is complete hit scan, so even at range, wherever you aim your crosshair is where you're going to end up hitting your shot. The drawbacks, however, is that it has damage drop-off, so the further you shoot, the less damage it's going to do. You're also going to consume a large amount of ammo, 5 shots to a round, and it doesn't have the same kind of damage, especially at range, than things like the sniper rifles do. So most people generally tend to avoid the select fire receiver with the HAVOC. It actually turns it into a weapon that is much less useful than the HAVOC without the select fire receiver in most scenarios. Let's talk about the Turbocharger now, because this is an attachment that can go on both the Devotion and the HAVOC. And now with the Devotion, it increases the spin-up speed. With the HAVOC, it eliminates the 0.25 second kind of buffer period between clicking fire and actually having the HAVOC fire. Most of you that have used the HAVOC already will notice if you do not have the Turbocharger, there is a slight delay to when the bullets start to fire from when you click go. Most people kind of think that it'll increase the shot speed, but it doesn't. It doesn't actually affect the rate of fire at all. Neither does it affect the recoil pattern. As I have tested here, the hip-fire recoil pattern compared with both of them is almost exactly identical. There is almost no change. The variance looks very similar. And although one's pulled to the right slightly than compared to the other one that was center point, that's normal variance, and I don't think the Turbocharger has anything to do with it. So the overall variance of spray patterns is very similar. So what I want to show you now is the fact that it eliminates the 0.25 second wind-up time, but actually, once they take that first shot, they have exactly the same rate of fire. You might need to look very closely. Basically, watch the blue pattern and watch the barrel expand on the no Turbocharger HAVOC. That is what you're looking for here. The other HAVOC, when you have the Turbocharger, stays consistently blue, which means you're going to have an immediate fire when you take that shot. Alright, that's the select fire receiver and the Turbocharger. The Turbocharger makes, in my opinion, the HAVOC one of the best assault rifles in the game because it eliminates that delay period, and the high DPS of the HAVOC means that it can perform really well. It's also quite easy to control in terms of recoil, like I said. Now, you may have seen me talk about stocks on the previous video. The stocks are the same with the HAVOC. They essentially reduce aim drift, and aim drift is something I'll show you very quickly after this particular section. It also increases the speed at which you raise and lower your weapon. White gives you 15% faster, purple gives you up to 35% faster. Most people won't notice the difference between white and purple, or even nothing and purple. To be honest, it's a matter of milliseconds, and it really will only affect the very, very top-end caliber players. The gold stock can only be found on a full gold HAVOC, and trust me, they do exist. I have seen them. They either come with a select fire receiver or a Turbocharger, so you kind of get screwed out of one of the ones that you might want with the full gold. So just taking a look here, this is the aim drift with no stock attachment. You can see the crosshair and the gun hover up and down, left and right. Now we're going to put on the rare stock, and you can see the ADS time, and we're going to have a look again. Little bit of a hover, but less pronounced and less frequent in terms of the direction of movement. And then we're going to finally compare the purple stock attachment, which is the best stock attachment you can get outside of the gold, and the ADS time is very quick, and you can see there is almost no movement of the crosshair. Really reduces aim drift in complete totality. Aim drift isn't a big deal, and it's a very, very minor reason to get an upgrade on your weapon with the stock, but it can impact your ADS stability and your ability to control recoil to the very slightest amount when aiming down sights. The HAVOC is a really versatile assault rifle and can be used at both close range and short range. When aiming down sights, you have a very tight horizontal recoil pattern, with vertical recoil being your main worry. When you're firing from hip fire, you have a tighter horizontal recoil pattern than something like the R301. However, the vertical recoil is much more pronounced, and therefore, to use the HAVOC effectively, you need to make sure you are controlling that vertical recoil. As of the update with the Wingman and the Peacekeeper nerf, they increased the availability of energy ammo and energy ammo weapons across every zone in Kings Canyon. Now, one of the biggest limiting factors of energy weapons in general has always been their limit to the amount of ammo that you can find. With the increased availability, actually the HAVOC becomes a much more sustainable and easily usable assault rifle, and makes it very, very high in terms of power level compared to some of the other weapons on Kings Canyon. If you can get the HAVOC in your favor and you can pick up enough energy ammo to supply it, and especially with the Turbocharger, which gets rid of that 0.25 seconds wind-up time at the start of the shot process, this weapon can be one of the most powerful in the game, and rightly so. It is an energy ammo weapon, and energy ammo weapons, because of that lack of ammo on the map, are always going to be a little bit more powerful in terms of blow for blow compared to their competitors. I hope you guys have enjoyed this particular video. I worked pretty hard on it to make sure I brought you all the details with the HAVOC. It is a very, very cool weapon, one of the newest weapons that has been added to Apex Legends, and me and Doughty are continuing to try and bring you some really high quality Apex Legends content. So if you like our content and you want to continue to be part of the process, then please make sure you check out some of our other videos, including the likes of our weekly supply drop, where we talk about Apex Legends, leaks, news, and all that kind of information. Anyway, I will see you soon. Thank you so much, guys.